Hello, it's Nikki and welcome back to Thursday's video. This week you find me in a reflective and a kind of planning space. My son turned 9 on Monday, my birthday's in a few weeks. And it's always around this time of year when I'm in mega reflection mode, mainly because there's that momentum of doing things before the end of the year is out. But also, what is this time about? What's been happening? What's going on? And I really allow myself to ask some big questions. And as I sit with this, I feel really, I'm grabbing my tea. Come on, we're going to have a big chat. This year has been, it's been quite extraordinary actually, in terms of making sense of a lot of things. The previous 2 years before this, I felt quite stuck and I had a lot of healing to do, a lot of uncovering, unraveling to do. And I did all of those things. And this year, I feel like I've recharged again and got my strength back and got some clarity. And I feel like I'm in forward motion now. Whereas the previous 2 years had been very much like I'd been looking all around. So I've been looking side to side, looking back over my shoulder and trying to go forward at the same time. And now I feel like I'm on a run. And that is a really great place to be. Having said that, those years previous to that were also very, very important. And I would not be in this place right now had I not been in those places before. It's almost like that moment where I feel like I'd been stuck at roadworks for a long time. You know, when things slow down on the motorway and you're like, how long am I going to be here? What's happening? I just want to get there. And suddenly there's a break in the traffic and you can go and you're back to full speed again. So that feels really lovely. But my main thing here is that we create our future self. And I know I always talk about this on Thursday. And if you like these kind of videos, do check out the playlist, do follow and subscribe and all of those great things. Because I think sometimes, certainly in my 20s, I assumed that things would happen. You know, this thing of like, ask the universe and the universe will deliver. And I actually don't believe that to be the case. I think the universe will deliver those things that you are ready for. I'm talking in terms of career. I'm not talking sort of the wider thing here. But say, for example, you want to have a #1 podcast and you've asked the universe for that, and yet you're really inconsistent or you haven't started yet. There's a real mismatch here. And so as part of this Future Self series, I want to ask these bigger questions so you actually move into that future self version of yourself that you want. Everything you want to be, do, and have and feel. So, as always, I've got 5 things to cover. Let's get into them and let's start with your version of your future self. And I love this sense that as we get older, we all have more agency to do what the heck we like. As in, we get to create and to do life and business on our terms. I remember being at school, that moment of, say, leaving school at 16, the majority would go and do A-levels, and then everybody was sort of in this space in similar conversation. Fast forward to nearly 43, we're in a very different place. Lots of people's lives look very different at this age and stage. And so what we need to do is to, therefore, make sure that we are checking in each and every day to make sure that this is what we want. And notice when we are on and when we are off. And sometimes this is difficult because when I'm off, I sometimes have that moment that I just want to run away. Like, no, 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 and be really dismissive and go, this is not the thing, this is not the plan, go. And sometimes, often, I need to take a bit more time with that process. But what I want you to take away from this first point is to not go through life blindly and not stop to check in. And now I really turn up the volume, the brightness on that, of making sure that I am in reflection mode often. Because we can have all these 5-year plans, but if we're not doing the steps, or we're not being about the plan Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday on a regular basis, the future self seems further and further away. So I want you to have that emphasis on all of those little things that you do on a day-to-day basis, being in the present moment. Instead of saying, I'll do it next week, next year, tomorrow, when I feel like it, be in it right now, saying, am I on track? Are the decisions that I'm making right now leading me to where I want to get to? Number 2, to be connected to your big why and commit to the vision. It's really easy to spend an afternoon or go to a workshop or listen to something online and scribble a few notes down about things that you want to be, do, have, and feel. But I want that vision to be so bright for you. So if somebody asks you, what are you working on? What's your plan? And I know sometimes people are like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be a plan in a detailed Excel spreadsheet. It could be, I am looking to carve out my life and define myself by these 3 words. Like, these are the things that are important to me. Whatever your version and however you like to articulate your version, it's really important, because unless you know what it is, how can you build a relationship with it? Number 3, I want you to get really, really specific and make decisions to support that. I think so often many of us leave things to chance, or we wait and see, or someone will let me know, or I'm hoping for the best. And I want to see and explore and play around in this space of what happens if you get really, really specific. What happens if you really laser in on something? And certainly I've found that, when I've shot headshots over the years, the temptation can be like, well, I just want to shoot a headshot that makes me look like I'm a professional actor. Well, I am a professional actor, so that goes without saying. So what is the character that I'm going to bring to this table? Okay, therefore, where does it need to be shot? What do I need to do with my hair? What's the outfit that I need to do? What's going on with my face? All of these things. And so I want this to be about your life, getting into the specifics. If you want to reach a particular career goal, for example, or a health goal, whatever it might be, I want you to get so specific of what that is so you can put the plan in place. Number 4, you have to spot the gaps. And the quicker that you can spot them, and when I'm talking about the gaps, I'm talking about that white space between where you are right now and where you want to get to. These gaps could be limiting beliefs, obstacles, low-level thinking, being stuck in an old version of yourself, outsourcing, listening to people who don't get it, but you taking their word and letting them have a grasp on your life and your decision making. The quicker that you can spot these, even if you don't know what to do with them, even if you're like, yes, but I've been thinking this way for years now, it's going to take a while to unpick it. If you can label it, you can quickly begin to disable it and move through it, rather than almost like just doing the same thing again and again and again, and you saying, it's not working, why me, why is this not working, it's not working. It's almost like repeating yourself in that way, instead of standing back and saying, is there something I'm missing here? And that's when a coach can be really great to help you uncover those things. But we have to be self-analytical in our process. Otherwise, we just repeat the same thing. You know, when you watch a toddler and they're doing something, and both my kids went through this stage, and, you know, probably beyond their toddlers, when they're frustrated, where they're trying to get something in a spot, or they're trying to like get their coat on or off and they can't do it because it's getting stuck. And I've always felt my moment, my position, my role in that time is to help them to take a step back. Why is it not working? What's going on with your coat? Do you need help? Let's just take a deep breath a second. All of these things are going to be so crucial to your progress, because everything you want to be, do, and have is likely to be possible. And yet, if it's not happening, that means there's something in the way. That means something is blocking or stopping that process. And somebody could tell you from an external situation what's happening, but we also have to find these things for ourselves and go, oh, that's what it is. I always do that. Why am I doing that? This is a pattern. And you become a real investigator of your own life. And that's when you get into the juicy, great information. Number 5, you may as well try. This is an interesting one, especially when we move out of our comfort zones, especially when we are stretching ourselves, we're challenging ourselves, we're rewiring, we're thinking of an alternative. Our body, mind, and spirit sometimes feels a little bit uncomfortable, a bit dysregulated when we say that we're going to do things. And so the temptation can be to make it all about them. As in, the stories will begin to say, well, you're probably too old for that. Or you've tried that before and it never worked. Or it's a really busy marketplace at the moment. Or nobody's spending any money. So what's the point of all of that stuff? All of that stuff. In order to fulfill that version of your future self that you want to be, do, have, and feel, I want you to do this one thing. I want you to be so emotionally connected with it that no matter what the obstacles are, or the self-sabotage, or the loop of limiting beliefs, whatever it is, you will still move forward anyway. And actually having 2 children who didn't sleep, I mean, that taught me a lot in many ways. But I do remember them being babies and being up every single hour, up and down, crying, not crying, change the nappy, change the clothes, change the things. That went on for 7 years. And they were my children. So I was committed to the outcome that maybe one day they will sleep. They do sleep now, by the way, which is a fantastic thing. And so what I needed to do was to keep connecting with what I needed to do to make that happen. And I think for many of us, we stay in that stuck place, or we assume it can't happen because we haven't figured it out the first time, or the progress is slower than we thought it might be. So what's the point anyway? Or whatever else is going on. I want you to tap in to those people in your life that perhaps you care for, maybe you mentor them, maybe you are responsible for them. And if one of my children tried something once and they went into that place and space of, well, it's not for me, I'm not somebody who can do that, you know, if it was like their maths or something, I wouldn't just go, yeah, I agree with you. I think that is the case. I would help them find a way, because ultimately both my kids, whatever they end up doing, it's likely they're going to need to add up, or they're likely going to need to be able to read and write, whatever the thing is. And so I want you to tap into that nurturing side that perhaps you have with your friends or your parents or your siblings or your children or people that you work with, and use that nurturing, that encouragement, that I believe in you to help you navigate the next steps. Did a bit of a Strictly. Navigate. Fabulous. That's it for today. I hope you've got some useful gems in there. I would love to hear, as always, what landed, what you're going to do, what resonated, what kind of stirred something for you. I'd love to hear it all. I'll be back tomorrow with Friday favorites, and I'm here every weekday. So check out my Substack, YouTube, you know, all the places. And if you want to work together one-on-one, I would love to help and support you and guide you every step of the way. For more details, it's all in the description down below or in my bio, and I'll speak soon. Bye.